He was the #1 billionaire on the Forbes list, and yet here he was, locked inside a pig pen that reeked to high heaven. The farmer made his terms clear. Jack would not be leaving until he had mated with 1,000 sows. What made it all the more surreal was that the pigs were drinking 1982 Chateau Petrus and dining on tomahawk steaks, while Jack was left with nothing but a bucket of rotting slop. Jack couldn't stomach the humiliation. He fought back and received only a merciless beating for his trouble. He lay on the ground, barely clinging to life. How on earth had the world's richest man ended up here? It had all started just a few days earlier. Jack was driving when something strange caught his eye. A photograph inside his car was inexplicably floating up and down. Before he could make sense of it, a sinking feeling came over him and he pulled over immediately. There, in front of his car, lay a small piglet. He let out a long breath. At least it wasn't a person. The piglet was badly hurt. Jack lifted it into the car and set off to find a veterinary clinic. But night fell and he still hadn't found one. The piglet's breathing grew shallower and shallower until it stopped altogether. Riddled with guilt, Jack decided to dig a hole and give it a proper burial. Then, just as he raised his shovel, a strange noise came from somewhere in the trees. He looked up, nothing. Probably just the wind, he told himself, and turned back to his task. A moment later, a figure stepped out of the darkness. Jack's heart lurched. He snatched up his tool and braced himself, but the woman let out a scream and ran. Then something even stranger happened. The piglet, which had been lying there dead, suddenly stirred back to life. Jack grabbed it and turned to leave, only to find the woman had followed him back. She told him the piglet was hers. Everything clicked into place. Jack explained what had happened from the beginning, and genuinely remorseful, offered to drive her home. She accepted without hesitation. They arrived at her house before long. She welcomed him warmly, and the evening passed pleasantly enough. What Jack failed to notice was that a trap was quietly closing around him. The alcohol did its work, and Jack drifted off to sleep. When he woke the next morning, a heavy iron chain was locked around his neck. He looked around frantically. He was in a pig pen. Before he could even gather his thoughts, the woman walked in with her father. Only then did Jack understand. He had walked straight into their snare. What awaited him was a disaster unlike anything he could have ever imagined.